When we think about groundbreaking music, we often imagine young, innovative artists pushing the boundaries of their genre. But what about the older artists like us, you know, who have been in the game for decades? Can we still produce music that's just as fresh, just as exciting, and just as relevant? I'm going to challenge that notion that age should limit an artist's ability to create something truly remarkable. This is Henry Clark. My channel is Senior Musicians Unite, where I provide tips, info, tricks, software instruction, and hopefully, the main thing, inspiration for older musicians. That's right. Musicians like us, like my shirt says, you're never too old to make music. And I'm a good example of that. I am 70 years old. Life got in the way of my music career in my earlier years. So it had to be put on the back burner. But I've re energized my passion for music about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I started producing myself and putting stuff out because I definitely wasn't going to get a record deal. But I'm pleased to say that it's been fun and thrilling. And last year alone on Spotify, I had over 1 million streams, and I have say 40 to 45,000 monthly listeners. So I'm not just talking the talk; I'm actually walking the walk, and I'm hoping to inspire other senior musicians like you guys to do the same. Just keep it moving, man, and keep on pushing if that's what you want to do. And if you don't want to do that and you want to do it just for fun, hey, that's okay too. I just happened to decide to take it a step further just to see, just to see how far it would go. I didn't have any expectations. I didn't do it for money. I'm not worried about that. I mean, I'm okay. I'm retired like 3 times over, so I'm okay with that. You know. But the music gives me something to do, and it also helps inspire me. It keeps me, as Pyro would say, it keeps me little gray cells moving. you know. But anyway, a lot of musicians, for example, the likes of Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, Roger Waters, have released critically acclaimed music well into their 60s and 70s. Now, there's a common stereotype that older artists can't produce fresh, relevant music and that they're somehow past their prime because there's a saying, when you get old, like you're supposed to do jazz,. And only jazz. Well, I'm sorry. I ain't with that. Actually, kind of pisses me off because that perception can be devastating to an artist's career as it can lead them to being dismissed or overlooked by fans and critics alike. And we often hear people saying things like, oh, man, they just trying to relive the glory days, or they're not as edgy as they used to be, or hey, like they are way too old to produce that kind of music. Who do they think they are? Now, what if I told you that simply it just isn't true? There are countless examples of older musicians who are still producing music that's innovative, exciting, and pushing their boundaries of what we think is possible. Reminds me of Elton John and Dua Lipa's song Cold Heart that came out a couple of years ago. That thing was totally pop, man, and it was a massive hit. But those stereotypes that's against older artists not only hurt the artists themselves, but also it influences the way we perceive and appreciate music as a whole because we start to believe that music is only for the young and the trendy, and that anyone over a certain age is somehow less relevant. Man, that is so far from the truth. What about all that wisdom, all the experience, and all the skills that come with age? Can't those older artists bring something new and unique to the table? By perpetuating stereotypes, we're not only doing a disservice to the artists themselves, but we're also missing out on some truly amazing music. We are discounting the very real possibility that an older artist might just create something that blows our minds, something that challenges our assumptions and broadens our horizons. Take, for example, the iconic band Fleetwood Mac, who released their album Tango in the Night in 1987, more than 20 years after their debut. Or consider the legendary musician Leonard Cohen, who released his critically acclaimed album You Want It Darker in 2016, just months before his passing at the age of 82. These are just a couple of examples of older artists who have successfully reinvented themselves or continue to thrive in the industry, producing music that's just as relevant and just as groundbreaking as anything they released in their youth. Let's talk about Paul Simon, who released his album, Stranger to Stranger, in 2016, featuring the hit single Wristband. The album was a critical and commercial success, earning Simon his 16th Grammy nomination at the age of 75. And how about Cold Mr. Tony Bennett, who released his album Duets 2 in 2011, featuring collaborations with Lady Gaga and Aretha Franklin and the late Amy Winehouse at the age of 85. Bonnie Raitt released her album Slipstream in 2012 after a 7-year hiatus from music. And that album was a huge commercial and critical success, earning Raitt her 10th Grammy nomination and introducing her music to a whole new generation of fans. Now, one of my favorite stories was Charles Bradley, because this guy was almost like a karaoke singer, totally dismissed. Nobody cared about him, right? He was a fantastic soul singer, reminiscent of James Brown and Otis Redding. And he didn't even come to prominence until he was in his 50s, living in his mother's house. So Charles and the other aforementioned artists are a testament to the fact that older artists can not only continue to produce great music, but also reach new heights in their careers, even in their 60s and beyond. Conclusion: age is just a number, man. And it's high time we stop believing that older artists can't produce amazing music, whether it's reinventing themselves or exploring new sounds. Yeah, that's kind of what I decided to do. Not that I'm a superstar, but I decided I didn't want to do jazz. I started out with old soul and I moved into pop and club music because I like that stuff. I explored those sounds and produced music in that realm, and it's doing okay. And that's what I'm talking about. It's the artists that decide to reinvent themselves, take risk, and go for it to prove that creativity and talent knows no bounds. So let's celebrate. I'm not talking about, no, I'm not talking about celebrating me, right? But let's celebrate the other artists I mentioned contributions and recognize that great music can come from anybody, regardless of age. What's your favorite older artist making waves in the music industry today? Let me know in the comments section below, and don't forget to check out my other videos discussing latest music trends, artist spotlights. And again, my name is Henry Clark. My channel is Senior Musicians Unite, and I hope that these videos actually benefit, but more importantly, I hope that my videos inspire you as an older artist to keep it moving, keep pushing, because remember, you're never too old to make music. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.